Two teams chasing one of the biggest prizes in the world of 10-pin bowling, a prize that demands the very best from the greatest players in both Europe and the USA. It's 10 Pin's answer to the Ryder Cup, and for 17 years it's been at the heart of transatlantic rivalry. These two teams are edging towards the winning line, with little to separate them. This is day 2 of the Weber Cup. The format is simple enough. The magic number here at the Weber Cup is 19. It's the first team to reach that target that claims the trophy. 1 point per match, with the matches consisting of singles, doubles and a baker, a team match involving all 8 players. As for the scoring, it's been simplified. The matches are played over 10 frames, there's no extra shot in the 10th. A strike is worth 30, and of course the magical score still remains the 300 game. Europe have been chasing this tournament from day one. The Americans claimed the opening 2 matches and set the tone. It was left to Jesper Svensson to save the day. He responded with points that kept his team in touch, helped by Barrett winning in the final match of the session. Day 2 showed a closer fought contest. Barrett won the opener, and despite the USA winning 3 games on the trot, Europe found a way back in via Stuart Williams, and then through the partnership of Larsen and Svensson. The USA finished with a win and finished 2 points clear of their rivals. Day 2 opened with Barrett picking up from where he left off. Another win, this time against Tackett. Barrett had put himself up for the next match alongside Svensson, but his quest to lead from the front failed in the face of Tackett in truth. It didn't get any better when Jesper Svensson lost his first ever Weber Cup singles match. Much had been made of Marshall Kent, who was down to play 4 times in this session. First time out, he won with Sean Rash by his side. The doubts about the American tactic started to creep in when Kent lost to Stuart Williams in the next. The tactic came under further scrutiny when Kent lost again, this time in the doubles. Larsen and Svensson walking away with the point. It required real character to turn such losing form around, and Marshall Kent found it in the last match of the session with a win over Martin Larsen. Evening session and the 15th match of this tournament saw all 8 players turn out for the Baker match. Europe, in a determined mood, recorded a 2-8-6 to win comfortably. Stuart Williams had momentum on his side and eased past Kyle Troop. Suddenly Europe were posing a real threat. Match 17 gave a glimmer of hope to the Americans as Tackett inflicted a rare defeat on Jesper Svensson. That result for the Americans proved a temporary blip. Barrett was back and leading from the front with a big win over his fellow captain, Sean Rash. 18 matches played and still no daylight between these two teams. Who will make the move in the remaining matches in this session? The winning line of 19 points still beckons. And coming up now, the first of those matches, Martin Larsen against Marshall Kent. Time then to join our commentary team of Cass Edwards and Nick Halling.
So up next, Martin Larsen. He is well overdue against Marshall Kent, who hasn't been seen since leaving the big split that effectively cost his team the Baker at the start of this evening's play. But it's Martin Larsen we're really concentrating on, the man who's never been on the losing side of a Weber Cup. 5 out of 5 he's been, but I think Martin will be the first to tell you he's not firing on all cylinders so far this year.
Only 9 strikes so far, and a 45% strike rate, which is, well, it's below half, isn't it? That's not particularly good.
No, just off the pace. Certainly hasn't lived up to his lucky nickname either. He's not had the best of fortunes, and here's Dom Barrett again, really just taking the lead in a captaincy role. You talk to see some of these other guys, they'll say, you know, when it's all going well, and you don't really hear a lot from the captain, but Barrett took this lot to one side earlier today, and they just had a real clearing of the air, and here he is very, very involved in trying to get Martin over his particular hump at the moment. This is interesting.
Yeah, I think I just read his lips there, and Dom said, get more strikes, which is pretty good information, really.
And how he would like a few more strikes, and how we're hoping, for Marshall Kent's sake, that he isn't going to have a hangover from his heavy lifting in this afternoon's session. Well, they really did ride him hard, the Americans. They made him play 4 games in a row. He was 2 for 2. He started well, finished well, slumped badly in the middle. And as I say, in the Baker, he left a huge split that really sealed the American fate in that. So we're getting a few highs and lows out of Marshall today.
Yeah, but he's one up over Martin Larsen. Shot 268 to 212 in the earlier meeting. It's now time for Martin's revenge.
Well, that's the right start. Just remember, it's a race to 19 points. These two teams locked at 9 apiece. The Americans have twice led by 3, only to be pegged back, but the Europeans have never managed to get in front.
It's the second game played on this lane condition. There's been a lot of bowling balls going down the right-hand side, so the oil will have transitioned, so these guys have got to look out for that from the off. And it may well be that within a couple of frames they could be making some big adjustments.
Let's see how Marshall starts out. He too gets a pocket hit for 10. Just thought about it briefly and then decided to go.
But played a totally different part of the lane to Martin Larsen, who played pretty much straight down the lane. Marshall Kent here is standing way left on the approach and giving it lots of air on the right-hand side before it rips back to the pocket.
Larsen doubles.
Yeah, very much down the much tighter line. Just holds the ball up there, hits the rack, carries all 10.
Now, when these two met, as you've referred to already, Larsen was well blown out in the final session, and the final match in this afternoon's session, 268 to 212, and we were watching this man here loft the ball in a significant tactical change. He was just letting the ball sail through the first 7-8 feet down the lane, Well, that was in response to a doubles match that he just played where he really was all over the place. But here he is, working a spare, and he's not lofting this ball yet. Doesn't need to with these strikes.
Yeah, now the reason he would loft it is because the heads of the lane, the first 6 to 8 feet, absolutely corrupted. All the oil had gone. And as soon as the ball was touching the lane, it was starting to jump left. So he wanted to cut out the first, as I say, 6 to 8 feet. And by doing that, how to do that? You loft the ball over it. And you bounce it. A little bit like our old friend Mika Koivunen used to do.
So both players opening up with a double here. Oh, that needed to do an awful lot of work. It just cut in a bit too late and it's left him the sleeper.
Yeah, he's not playing a big hook, and unfortunately that just sailed away to the right a bit, so there wasn't enough of a hook to get back. He's aiming at that down lane marker, which you can see, which is about 44 feet, and he was way outside it.
If you get this wrong, you send the pin one side and the ball the other side of that obscured pin. So you've got to just make sure you cut into that first pin, as Martin Larsen did just there.
Yeah, we call it the sleeper, and yeah, you have to be quite accurate to pick up that back pin, which he did. Opportunity for Marshall Kent to take the lead here with another strike.
He's looked solid here in the early going. As I say, with young Marshall, we're seeing highs and lows at the moment.
Well, you can see how far left on the approach he's standing. He's right next to the ball return, and will try and wander even further left with his feet. Almost right out to the gutter.
Oh, no, I talked about those highs and lows, Cass. You just never know what's coming with this guy at the moment. I mean, there we've seen 2 brilliant pocket hits followed by an absolute dog's dinner of a shot.
High through the head pin, leaves the 3, 6, 7 and the 10. It's a makeable spare. It's just got to clip that 3 pin right hand side, bounce it across.
He's left 2 standing as well. Low pin count. Yeah, the ups and downs of Marshall Kent's Weber Cup continue. So it's advantage Martin Larsen here.
Yeah, given the opportunity on that open frame. See if Larsen can bury one in there.
No. Oh, he's got it. Now, sometimes, yeah, he's the first to say, yeah, okay. That's why they call me Lucky Larsen, because that did not look a good shot at all.
Well, you can tell by the look on his face. Lucky Larsen has been oh so lucky. Let's have a look at this one in a little bit of slow motion. It's right.
There's no way that's a strike.
That is not the strike pocket.
That's a spare shot. That's a split shot. That is. He knows it. He was the first to put his hands up and say, yeah, okay.
He won't do that again, let me reassure you.
He won't be playing that line.
No.
Now Marshall Kent's got to shrug off the open frame. As you say, really just favouring that left side, then cutting back in, and that was a much better, much cleaner hit.
Europe's Martin Larsen with the edge over America's Marshall Kent. More to come after the break. Welcome back to the Weber Cup. It's day 2 and the 3rd session of the tournament, all square at 9 all. And on the lane at the moment, Larsen against Kent. There's little in it after the early exchanges. Larsen with the edge. Commentary for this match comes from Cass Edwards and Nick Halling.
Larsen looking for a double and making it. Oh, what a great shot that was.
Yeah, that was a very different shot, wasn't it? That replicated the Kent shot.
Such a contrast to that last one that went straight through the headpin. This one was in the pocket and absolutely blitzed them. Here we go, watch this, and the pins just explode sideways, don't they? Fantastic looking shot, 2 strikes in a row.
Still early days, and it's the Swede with the advantage. Kent, who responded to that open frame with an absolutely textbook strike, will be looking for more of the same and gets it.
Both players have 4 strikes in exactly the same position. Marshall Kent just staying with the game.
Oh, he's tucked in nicely. I think Marshall is quite happy where he is right now. I think he'll be interested to see how Martin copes with the pressure of being a front runner.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you're the front runner, you've got to keep the pressure on your opponent, so you really need to keep striking. A bit like that.
Because when you do strike, you force your opponent to match. A bit of a lazy 10 going down, but Martin will be the first to tell you they all count, and there was nothing lucky about that.
Yeah, 3 strikes in a row looks good on paper, even though one of them was rather dubious, shall we say.
Outrageous is the word. Now, there's been nothing dubious about the last 2 frames from this man. They have been near perfect. Can he match what Larsen is doing? Oh, yes, he can.
Well, with the help of the messenger, he will shoot another strike, and that's 3 strikes in a row. So they both shot 3 strikes in a row at the same time. They both started with 2 strikes at the same time.
The difference is an open frame. That's it.
And what a big difference that does make. They're both having successes on this, as I say, it's the second game on this lane dressing. And there you can see where all the strikes have come from. It's quite a good looking scorecard, even though Kent has got the open frame.
Well, for both of them, I was just about to say, this is certainly the best we've seen of Martin Larsen so far. Can he keep it going here? Oh, the 7 hung around and thought about it and then said, okay, you can have another one, Martin. But Martin, you're using up some of your good fortune in this match.
It was almost like slow motion, wasn't it, those pins falling over? It's the 5 and the 7 pin, the last 2 to go. Oh, you lucky man. But it makes 4 strikes in a row. Martin Larsen, that's my name.
So he stays in front. Now Kent will be just sitting in his own little zone mentally. Won't be thinking about what's going on in the other corner. He's just got to concentrate on his own business. His last 3 shots have been beautiful. Make that 4 in a row. And at one point Martin's going to start thinking, well, hang on, I'm under intense pressure here.
No, he's fine. He's just still maintaining that 10-pin lead. They both hit 4 strikes in a row. So both brought their A game to the lane this particular time of the evening. And it is becoming a strike fest.
Well, we're down to frame 8. Martin's the man with the initiative. If he strikes out, he can't be caught. But knowing how well his opponent is now bowling, he will know he needs strikes and nothing less. And there's the streak comes to an end. And what a difference that makes.
Well, that's pretty unfortunate. I mean, he's bowled some really good strikes, and this, you would say this really should have been. It's a fraction high on that head pin, and that's the reason the 7 standing. Oh dear, Martin. And he was so lucky earlier on, wasn't he?
Well, the fortune does balance out. What he's got to do is make absolutely sure of this 7 pin. But that now puts the ball firmly in the other court here in frame 8. If Marshall Kent goes off the sheet, he'll win the point. So the initiative has been tossed away here by Larsen. Just one pin standing up. Fine margins indeed.
Well, you could tell that Martin realised that that could have been the frame that loses the game if this man keeps striking. And a strike here and he will take the lead by a pin.
And the last 4 have been so good. So he's properly dialed in. Is this the 5-bagger? Is this the lead? No.
Can you believe that?
Now what on earth would you change in that shot?
Well, he's left a pocket 9-pin. Now, it's quite amazing to see that he's left that, actually. The ball has just cut back so hard. It's gone straight through the 5-pin and should have deflected onto that 9, but it hasn't. So much power in the ball. It's gone straight through the pin deck, through the 5-pin, leaving the solitary 9 standing on its own. To all intents and purposes, a perfect ball. Leaves a single pin.
Well, he dispatches it with a look of utter disgust. And the initiative is thrown back in the direction of Sweden.
Yeah, just 10 pins in the lead now is Larsen. We're down to the foundation frame, frame number 9.
We list Martin Larsen as coming from Gothenburg, which is not quite geographically true. It's just that nobody on our crew can either pronounce or spell the town that he does come from. But Gothenburg it is, Sweden it is, Europe it is, and it could be a first Europe lead if he nails this one, which he does.
Cometh a man, cometh the hour. Great looking strike there in frame number 9. Martin's been there or thereabouts the whole game. Just an 8 spare in the 3rd frame and lots of strikes in a 9. But it's been a pretty good game so far. He's still pacing 277. And to stay with any chance, Marshall Kent has to hit a strike here.
Yeah, nothing else. Nothing else will do. So unlucky last time up. But bowling really well, apart from that one open frame. And how costly could that prove to be? There he is. Another really good, solid pocket hit. All 10 down, but there's nothing he can do now except hope that Martin Larsen does not strike. If Larsen strikes, there's nothing Marshall Kent can do about it.
And if Martin Larsen hits a 9 spare 19 and Marshall Kent gets a strike, he will win by a pin.
Well, this one of the pivotal moments in this year's Weber Cup. A strike gives Europe its first lead. Anything less, and the Americans can steal this one. Is it a strike? There's the answer, there's the point, there's the lead, and there is Martin Larsen's first win in this year's Weber Cup. What a time to have it as well.
Well, they call him lucky, but that last shot was not lucky at all. It wins the game. It puts Team Europe in the lead for the first time. Lazy 10 pin to go at the end, but he doesn't care and we don't care.
That just sums it up for Marshall Kent, who's bowled a pretty good game, it has to be said. 256, and he's going to be on the wrong end of this. Real high quality match, this one. Really good. Really good. Going back to the perspective again, it's been Stuart Williams and Martin Larsen that Don Barrett was saying earlier. They needed to step up and come up. They've both won important singles matches tonight. Europe have completely dominated this Saturday night session in front of a really big crowd as well. And that American lead has been whittled away, and now it has gone completely as the European ascendancy continues. They lead this one 10-9 now.
For the first time, Europe take the overall lead. Is this a turning point in the Weber Cup? Reaction and comment after the break. Is this a turning point in the Weber Cup? The American team have dominated the early stages, leading for most of the way. The best Europe could do was draw level, but now after 19 matches they've finally taken the lead. Martin Larsen producing a winning performance against Marshall Kent. Plenty more to come in this session, but for now, a moment for Europe to celebrate. Martin Larsen is talking to Hannah Wilkes.
Well, Martin, if ever there was a time to really find your form, that was certainly it. Europe into the lead. You must be very, very happy with that performance.
Well, having been the dark horse that hasn't really performed the way I supposed to, being able to be the one that actually steps up and take that point to get us to the lead first time, oh, that feels just unbelievable. Great.
It feels like a little bit of your luck might have come back. Did you see how slowly that seventh pin fell in that seventh frame?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I was kind of playing on, like it was finally time to get lucky. But then the shot after, I threw it pretty good, and I left the 7-pin on that one instead. So overall, I mean, Marshall had a good game, and I was just that little bit more lucky that game than he was, so that was about time.
We've got a captain's pick match coming up in a couple of games' time. Do you feel confident you might have done enough to not get selected for that?
I mean, before that match, I was pretty certain they're going to choose me. Now they actually have to think about it a little bit harder. It's exactly the same situation. It's the second game after redress. So obviously I had some... If they choose me, I'm fine with it this time. I was a little bit scared about it before, but now, bring it on. I'm happy to take it on.
Lucky Larsen back on track and putting Europe ahead for the first time. The matches come thick and fast. Time then for the next singles match. Jesper Svensson against EJ Tackett. Commentary for this match comes from Cass Edwards and Nick Halling.
Well, how quickly things can change. 24 hours ago, we talked about Jesper Svensson looking virtually unplayable. Here we are on Saturday night as opposed to Friday night, and Jesper Svensson, the young Swede here, right now on current form, incredibly, is looking like the one player that might be struggling a little bit. Does he need a win or what?
It's difficult to say with Jesper Svensson. He's one of the best players in the world. It's a brand new game. Whatever's gone on before him, he'll put behind him, and he'll just go out and try and beat this lane on his own on the left-hand side.
Back-to-back defeats in singles matches this evening. He bowled a 235. Earlier this afternoon, a 224. That brought his average tumbling down. He was the one player nobody wanted to play when we began business today. And this was the guy whose Weber Cup had been a slow burner up until tonight. He was still looking to register his first singles win. Got it in emphatic fashion against Svensson, bowling a 252. That was his best performance. And if he can achieve the double here, it will bring Europe back on level terms with the United States once again. And we've been waiting to see the best of EJ Tackett. We certainly found out how he can cope under pressure last time up. But can he do the double and sink Jesper Svensson even deeper into his chair? So it's Tackett to open this one up with a strike.
Playing much straighter down the lane is EJ Tackett this time. Opens the shoulders up, gives it lots of revs. Coming wide in from the right-hand side, carries all 10 pins.
Looking ahead to the next match, that is the captain's pick. That's when each captain picks a member of the opposing team. Last time the two captains picked each other. I don't think Sean Rash will want Dom Barrett anywhere near this lane the way he's playing at the moment. Now let's see what we got here. Oh no, now that's some ghosts coming back to haunt him right here, because this is the one he missed.
It was a very good looking shot. It really snapped into the 1-2 pocket. Unfortunately, the flying pins around left that 7-pin standing, and as you say, Nick, it's not his favourite pin.
Twice already in this year's Weber Cup he's let this go. Had to get rid of that one, but he's muttering away to himself. That is not the start that Jesper Svensson wanted in this match.
No, everybody wants to get off a strike first frame, obviously, especially when your opponent's already got one.
But when you leave that 7 up, and it was that 7 that caused him so many problems, not just the one he missed, but there were 2 or 3 others that he left standing. Meanwhile, Tackett will look to convert into a double, and he's left himself a mess. Oh, he got lucky. He got very lucky indeed.
Well, yes, he actually had the 3-pin and the 7-pin, which is an unusual combination, standing up, but it's the 3-pin that's been kicked from behind and it's gone, so this can be a 9 spare and out of trouble, or potential trouble.
You see some of the oil is on that ball, so some players meticulous in getting rid of all that oil. Others just don't mind a few streaks here and there. Yeah, that'll settle the nerves.
Well, it is a freshly dressed lane before this game started, so there will be plenty of oil. As you can see, Jesper just cleaning all that oil off his ball before he throws his strike. He wants it nice and clean, or as clean as it can be, or dry as it can be.
Yeah, he's quite thorough and meticulous with his preparation here. Svensson, we've seen that in previous matches. He's not leaving anything to chance. And the one thing the tall 2-hander from Sweden will want here is all 10 pins. Would you believe it? No, it's gone. It's gone. I just thought for one split second that was going to stand up and taunt him again.
That was almost a lucky Larsen shot, wasn't it? There's the 7-pin stand, but it's wobbling and it's fallen forward. How about that?
Yeah, this one got chipped from behind as well. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, a little nudge in the back, and away it's gone. Squares the game.
So here comes Tackett.
Can't really say too much about that, can you? Great looking shot. Right hand side of the lane, came up, hit the 1-3 pocket and carried all 10.
If you could just bottle that shot.
Well, he's one of the few people in the world that has almost bottled it. Being,
I was going to say you can sell it to people like you and me, because we'd pay a lot of money to be able to do that.
well, I might have done a few years ago.
Oh, don't tell me you were that good.
I'm saying nothing, but my...
Say, there's one or two old teammates of yours would tell a different story.
Oh, you're talking about Fred Flintstone, are you?
Now then, the 7 is still standing. Didn't think we'd seen the last of that.
Yeah, a lot of reaction Jesper is getting in the back end there with that that ball of his. It's really just a little bit too much, really, and that's why that 7-pin is standing.
But going back to what I was talking about earlier, when the captains have to pick the guy, not that it's a weak link, all these players are far too good to be called weak, that would just be insulting, but you're picking the guy that's a little bit off his game. Who would have thought that this man right here would be a very strong contender to be the captain's pick? He's got himself out of trouble there, but he's still fighting this lane here, Jesper.
Well, if you're not carrying corner pins and you're only making 9 spares, you may be that weak link, if you like, if that's the phrase to use, and could well be the captain's pick. He's got to get back on these strikes and start carrying.
Yeah, if I'd have said to you 24 hours ago, Jesper Svensson will be the captain's pick as the guy off form, you'd have had me carted out of here by the men in the white coats. And it's changed quickly.
It could always be arranged.
Hello.
Dear,
somebody
oh
else
dear.
might be looking for the men in the white coat. He knew that that was all wrong the moment it left his fingers.
There's a lot of pins down there. He's only taken 4 pins out, which is really unusual. Let's see where this goes. High through the head pin. He's got the 3-6, the 10. He's got the 4-7 and the 9 pin.
Look at that. I'm like, yeah, well, what a mess.
It is a mess. I mean, it could actually be it's a makeable spare, but he's got to be deadly accurate. He's got to bounce that 3 pin across and pick up the 9 pin at the back.
He is a good spare bowler, but he's missed the 3.
Yeah.
It's a low pin count as well. Well, he'll be hoping that's his one bad ball of this match.
He'll be hoping that's his one bad frame of the whole tournament, quite honestly.
Yeah.
You don't often see a 4 and a 3 count. Bearing in mind it was a huge split.
So that is now, despite all his problems with that troublesome 7 pin, advantage Svensson.
Yes, he's going to be looking to bury a strike here, take 30 pins and extend that lead.
That's what the great players do. When your opponents give you a gift, you punish them, but you know what?
Crikey.
I tell you, the 10 pin gods are teasing and tormenting Jesper Svensson here tonight.
I can't believe that this really was a strike. It looked perfect. Look, the 7 pin hasn't even moved. Good grief.
It's like he's got a force field around it. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And it is. He's being tested. Come on, you've missed me twice. Let's see if you miss me again. And he can't afford another miss. He really can't.
Well, he's sparing them, but we shouldn't be leaving them. You should never miss a single pin, but don't leave them.
I'm putting you on the spot. If you were Sean Rash, the American captain, right now, who would you pick to bowl for Team Europe?
Oh, gosh.
There's your answer. Right there, staring at you.
No,
he's the guy.
I picked Stuart Williams because he's changed out of his shirt already.
Tackett will look to get back. Well, he too fails to get a strike. So both these players having their problems here.
Both players are getting an awful lot of reaction on the last 20 feet of lane, which is the dry part of the lane as you come off the corner of the oil pattern. The ball's just overreaction because both players have got such high revs on their bowling ball. EJ just going out for a little quick chat with the captain. Oh, it's Carl Troop, but words of advice, no doubt.
Yeah, Sean Rash is the only man not there. That's just on the sat down there is Marshall Kent. He's obscured, and the conversation goes on as Jesper comes up. And you know what he's thinking? Please, please take this 7 pin out. Is it a question of just making small adjustments? Is it just a little bit of better fortune? There it goes, but look what's left on the other end of it. This is unbelievable.
He must be thinking, what on earth is going on? 7 pin, now a 10 pin.
Did he overcompensate?
It is very light on the head pin, isn't it? Just didn't throw enough wood to the right hand side to take it out, but I mean, he's so close and so unfortunate, but that's part and parcel of the game, isn't it?
Well, they always say that for the single pins it's the 10 that's a little bit easier for the left-handers and the 7 for the right-handers, so let's see if that's the case. Yeah, no danger there. This one now too close to call.
Certainly is, just the 1 pin in it at the halfway stage.
I was going to say, if either of them do strike out, obviously Svensson will get the win by 1 pin, but I don't think either of these players look like they're poised to go on a tear up here, but you never know.
Well, it can certainly change around. I mean, they're obviously talented enough and skilled enough bowlers to strike off if they wanted to. It's only 5 frames to go, but as you say, both are suffering just a little bit.
That's an important strike for Tackett. That keeps the pressure on.
Yeah, Tackett must feel quite confident, I think, because he knows that Jesper's suffering with those corner pins, and, well, will that change? Maybe it won't.
5 frames, 4 9 spares for Jesper Svensson.
He's got room for another 5, which we don't really want to see.
Well, we're not going to see there. I'll look to the heavens. Finally, they've given him something.
Just a point between these two. More to come after the break. Welcome back to the Weber Cup, where Europe are in the unique position of defending an overall lead. That task is down to Jesper Svensson, who's facing the challenge of E.J. Tackett. One more match left in this session, which is the captain's pick, but for the moment it's all about Svensson and Tackett. Time to get back to the action with Cass Edwards and Nick Halling.
So both of them finding the strike zone here as we go into the second half of this match. Here we are in frame 7. We couldn't find a strike in the first half. They've both come up with one in frame 6. There's a double up from Tackett.
Yeah, and you could just see on that ball of Tackett's the amount of revolutions and rotation that he puts on the ball. Snaps it with his hands and fingers, just blasts that pocket.
And yet he's not a big physical guy. I mean, this isn't some muscle-bound powerhouse here, but as you say, he really, with his whippy technique, really does get the ball to do some work.
That's what they say about him in the States. He weighs about 120 pounds, but revs at 600 revs on the bowling ball at nearly 20 mile an hour. And it pays dividends for him.
Look at that.
Just when you thought he was going to get us another strike, it's another single pin. Now it's starting to get to him now. You can see he's getting angry.
It's understandable, Cass. It really is. I mean, this is an epidemic of single pins in this match.
Shouting at in his best Swedish. Good job we don't know what he's saying.
I was going to say, might be just as well. You can certainly understand his frustration.
Yeah, so the lead changes.
So what is that? 3 7-pins and 2 10-pins now?
That's right, yes, out of 7 frames.
It's unbelievable.
It's a 10-pin lead for Team USA. Jesper's coming over and what can I do? What do I do?
And he's got Martin Larsen there that he's talking to. Primarily Don Barrett is there as well, but he's not saying a whole lot, the skipper, because what can you say in a situation like this? Meanwhile, Tackett, went wide. Oh, he went really wide there.
Oops. Oh dear, hard and fast. The 2-8-10 split. Now this is, well, I'm going to say it's pretty impossible. It can be spared. I've seen it spared, but it's one of the most difficult ones on the pin deck in the game. The 2-pin and the 8-pin sleeper with a 10-pin. So how's he going to cover that back pin and bounce one across?
Goodness
very,
knows.
very difficult.
Goodness knows.
More than likely an open frame. And the ball just got away from him. It got held up in the lane oil.
Look at all the oil on the ball as well. He just hasn't cleaned it all off. Open frame.
Takes just the 2.
How many lead changes have we had in this match?
About 3, actually. And it's a chance for Svensson to come back as frustrated as he is, leaving single pins. A strike here will put him right back in the lead.
Would you bet money on a strike right now from Jesper Svensson? He can't find a strike. He's had 2 through 7 frames.
And the odds are?
Well, statistically then, by the law of averages, he's due. In fact, he's due 3 in a row, and if he can get 3 in a row, Tackett will be on the receiving end of this one. But the way this 7 and this 10, one or other of them, have just taunted him tonight. There you go. There you go. That might be the biggest cheer of the night because they're suffering with him, these fans.
Well, absolutely, yeah, but this one is absolutely perfect. He's got this one right. He's carried all the corner pins. He's taken the lead by 11 pins with just 2 frames to go.
And again, just to go big picture, this is how big a collapse this has been for the USA. If Svensson holds on here for the win, Europe will have won 7 out of the last 9 available points. That's close to meltdown.
Well, Tackett back with another one in the foundation frame.
You know what a 9 spare does? It will take this level going into the 10th frame, unless I've miscalculated here.
You're quite right. Yeah, a 9 spare here, and they're all square. It will be a 1-frame shootout. How close is that? How close is that?
Well, it's been a crazy game. It really has. We've had a couple of absolute howlers from Tackett, mixed in with some absolutely brilliant pocket hits. And we've just had a seemingly endless succession of 9 spares from Svensson.
It's that close that, and as I say, Tackett's had 2 open frames. Svensson's clean through 8 frames. No opens, just not enough strikes.
There's another one. That's a huge one. That really is big. It forces Tackett to strike in the 10th frame.
Strike for Tackett will give him 234. And a 9 spare for Svensson will give him 234. It's been that close, and it could be that close right at the end.
This is the kind of match, you're not going to win it, you're going to survive it. Whoever gets the point here will just breathe a huge sigh of relief, because this could have gone either way. And it's a brave man going in to this 10th frame. It's a brave man or woman who would put any money on which way this one's going to go. A strike makes it very interesting. Oh, would you believe it? That pin has defied gravity, and that might do it.
That will do it, I'm afraid. 223 is his maximum score. Yes, but it's already 215. So just keep the ball on the lane, and that will be a victory, another victory for Team Europe. And how close is that pin to going over?
In the end, it's a really disappointing 2-1-3 from E.J. Tackett. He was undone completely by 2-3, excuse me. He was undone completely by 2 open frames. And it just means, as you say, very simply, 9 to take the point.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate. As you saw, Jesper just wiping the bowling ball. He's just got to keep it in play, do nothing silly. Tackett, unfortunately, 2 huge open frames. You can't do that in a 1-game match play shootout. Head to head, you really can't have a 4 count and a big split 7.
You can get away with 1, and we've seen that, but 2, as you say, it's actually 2 bad ones like that. So this, for the point, well, 9 was what he needed. That's enough. That time, he can let the 7-pin do what it wants. He doesn't need it anymore.
That's right, yeah, he's 224, he's already got 1-pin victory.
But look at his face. This man is not celebrating. He is breathing a massive sigh of relief, because both of these players have really struggled here. Finally, he can breathe a massive sigh of relief. More significantly, it's a big point for Team Europe. It's 7 out of 9. It's an 11-9 lead as well, as Jesper Svensson survives a trial by single pins against E.J. Tackett, who will be ruining those 2 open frames. Europe with a bit of daylight in this race to 19.
A rare sight on the leaderboard. 3 consecutive blocks of blue signifying a run from Europe. but has now secured them a 2-point lead in the overall race for the Weber Cup. Svensson, the man providing the winning touch. Can Europe maintain that momentum, or will the Americans come back? All will be revealed in our next show from the 18th edition of the Weber Cup.